David, do you think Crawford will fight you if he beats Canelo?
You can't take Crawford's skill away. You know, you have to give him credit for skill. He's an amazing fighter. He's an amazing technician in the ring. And
Benavidez is like 6 foot something. You know what I mean? Then he gonna come in 190, 200 probably. You know what I mean? Like you never know. Like that's a big dude. Like you know what I mean?
And he's skilled, man.
You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, I might as well go to heavyweight if I fight Benavidez.
After toppling one of boxing's most dominant figures, Terence Crawford and his camp are already setting their sights on another dangerous challenge, the relentless David Benavidez. Yes, the very same Benavidez whom Canelo Alvarez steered clear of for years is now emerging as a serious target on Crawford's hit list.
things like 64.
David, do you think Crawford will fight you if he beats Canelo?
Nah, I wouldn't fight Crawford. I'm at 175.
Everyone understood that Terence Crawford wasn't pursuing Canelo Alvarez just for a payday. His mission was far bigger than money. Crawford was chasing greatness, chasing a defining moment that would carve his name permanently into boxing history. And now, as he continues building that legacy step by step, Team Crawford is eyeing another terrifying challenge at 168 pounds. The feared powerhouse known to fans as the Mexican monster, David Benavidez.
When you'd want to see Bud fight in this era, that you think, you know what, that'd be a great fight.
Well, I would say Benavidez, but he's too, you know, that weight class is too high for him. So, you know, where he's at now is great.
If this showdown actually becomes reality, it would have to take place at super middleweight, the natural division where David Benavidez is most dangerous. But here's the interesting part: Terence Crawford has already proven at 168 pounds that he is not merely stepping up to survive, he is stepping in and showing he can truly perform and succeed at that level.
Out here, Kamaru, Terence Crawford versus the Mexican monster, David Benavidez.
I knew it was coming.
He was the mandatory for Canelo.
Oh my God. Relax.
What's up? The scariest guy in the division.
He's not in the division.
He said he could still make 168 pounds. The reason why he won out because nobody wants.
Against Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford moved through the ring like a sudden bolt of lightning, incredibly quick, incredibly elusive, and razor sharp with his attacks, leaving Canelo reaching for punches that simply were not there. Now imagine that very same speed, that brilliant ring intelligence, and that calculated precision going up against a naturally larger and constantly aggressive David Benavidez that is exactly the kind of explosive matchup that could completely shake the entire boxing world and turn the sport on its head.
Crawford and Benavidez.
He said he wanted Benavidez to make 168 with the thinking in mind.
And he was like, nah, we don't want to do that.
I just think Benavidez, he's like, what, 6'5", 6 something like that? He's a big dude, bro.
Turki is clearly enjoying the moment following Crawford's huge victory, and he's already getting fans talking online now. He has started adding fuel to the fire on social media, after posting a thought-provoking question on X, asking can David Benavidez still make the 168-pound limit, a comment that many see as a strong hint that the idea of Terence Crawford facing David Benavidez could already be on his radar.
Alshik posted on social media asking if David Benavidez is still capable of making it down to 168. Now, we're not sure if this little tease that Turki made was targeted as a hint for a future fight between Crawford and Benavidez, or Canelo versus Benavidez.
But here is the catch: David Benavidez does not seem too eager about the idea of facing Terence Crawford right now. And if that sounds familiar, it should because the exact same storyline played out with Canelo Alvarez in the beginning. He also brushed aside the idea of stepping in the ring with Bud, yet the moment a massive $150 million offer appeared, the conversation instantly changed, and the fight suddenly became the biggest opportunity of his career. That is the kind of influence Turki carries in the sport. When numbers that huge are placed on the table, hesitation disappears almost overnight. Fighters may speak about legacy and pride, but when 9-figure paydays start getting mentioned, the conversation quickly shifts from not interested to where do I sign.
I feel like Bud needs a Benavidez, and then that would mean Benavidez would have to go into a different body and bring himself back down to 68 when he's already getting settled in at 175. That's just Turki trying to pull rank. Turki trying to show he got a golden arm.
Now things get really interesting, because right after all the chatter about Turki throwing big money around, Crawford finally gives us a glimpse into his own thoughts on David Benavidez, and you can feel the mix of respect and caution he has for the man. The guy acknowledges just how monstrous Benavidez really is, basically hinting that he's like a heavyweight in disguise. Crawford even cracks a joke saying he might as well start preparing for heavyweight bouts if he actually decides to step into the ring with this guy.
You were at 168. When we think about anybody at 168 outside of Canelo, the first name that comes to anybody's mind is David Benavidez. What about the potential for a fight like that?
Oh, like I said, man, that's a big dude. You know what I mean? He ain't even at 168. You know, when you look
Right, not now. It's at 175, yeah.
he probably can't even make 168 no.
And let's be real, he isn't exaggerating. David Benavidez enters the ring looking like he just swallowed the entire cruiserweight division for breakfast. Yet here's the twist. Crawford still trusts his advantage in speed, timing, and pure boxing skill. That's classic Bud confidence right there. He'll size up an opponent, admit they're massive and dangerous, and still figure out exactly how to take control. That mindset is exactly why fans adore him. He doesn't shy away from a challenge. He analyzes it like a grandmaster playing chess and makes his move.
When you look at these fights, you know, especially coming up, you gotta be realistic. You gotta, you know, say, all right, you know, how big is this dude really is? Because David Benavidez, he can fight his ass off. You know, me personally, I believe in my skills and my ability that I can be.
Big or small, it makes no difference to Crawford. He's convinced he's the one controlling the entire board. And honestly, that's hilarious. Bud stares at Benavidez like he's a towering skyscraper and still casually asks, "Which floor should I knock you out on?" Only Crawford can make stepping into the ring with a giant feel like just another day at work. And right when he had everyone buzzing over his take on Benavidez being a hidden monster, Robert Garcia steps in with a reality check. The guy at the barbecue pointing out your plate is way too overloaded.
I think he should have maybe fought Benavidez instead. Maybe that would have been a better fight for him.
Who?
Benavidez.
Oh no, Benavidez would destroy him. Not even close. Just like Benavidez would destroy Crawford.
I won't lie, hearing him claim Benavidez could take out both Canelo and Crawford had me literally spitting out my drink. Like, relax coach, let us dream for a second. But I get it, Garcia isn't here to sugarcoat anything. He's basically saying, Crawford is a once-in-a-generation fighter, but Benavidez is a whole different kind of beast. And let's be honest, we can admit it, that's the kind of fight where sheer size and raw power start making Bud look human. Still, you can't help but chuckle at the way Garcia just casually dropped that truth bomb.
There's no chance. There's no chance. Benavidez is too big, too strong, too fast for these guys. Benavidez would beat these two guys, I would say easy.
Man didn't even pause. Just straight up shut it down like a dad cutting the Wi-Fi when you've been gaming too long. But here's my take. Yeah, Benavidez is an absolute beast, no question. Yet every time people claim someone's too big or too powerful for Crawford, he pulls another stunt that makes even legends look like warm-up partners. So would I shell out to watch this showdown? Absolutely.
His team is concentrated
Every
on
last
timing,
pay-per-view
precision,
dollar,
and defensive
no
movements
hesitation.
to ensure.
Like I said, Crawford is one of my favorites of all times now because of what he just accomplished, what he just did. But Benavidez is too big for him, too fast, too strong. I wouldn't even want to see it. Canelo, Benavidez beats him.
And Robert Garcia already had us clutching our plates at that barbecue with his brutal reality check. And just when you think things couldn't get any hotter, boom. Sugar Shane Mosley drops the wildest take of the year. He straight up claims Crawford might even be better than Mayweather. I had to pause and sip some water because that's the kind of statement that gets boxing fans ready to throw couches across the living room. And the craziest part? He said it without missing a beat. Then he broke it down perfectly. Mayweather's all about technical mastery, sure, but Crawford? He's got those long arms, old school grit, and he'll take the fight anywhere you want.
But after the fight, Canelo was like, he's better than Mayweather. So, maybe it was just different because Crawford's arms are so long. His arms are really long, so it's kind of hard to hit him. But no, he did everything, man. He's the.
Can't even argue too much because deep down, Shane actually makes a solid point. Now picture the debate. Skip Bayless somewhere sweating bullets, Max Kellerman crafting a whole soliloquy, and your uncle at the barbershop yelling 490 with veins popping out. This conversation isn't ending anytime soon, and that's exactly what makes it legendary. And then Mosley casually tosses in the Canelo retirement chatter like it's just another Tuesday. Yeah, Canelo's accomplished plenty. Maybe it's time to start training the next generation, or who knows, even step into the ring with Jake Paul for a cool 100 million.
Canelo, do you think he should retire?
Yeah, Canelo is more so into training, probably fighters and helping people. Like he already did what he needed to do. There's nothing really more he can do in the sport.
Man, Only in boxing can a conversation jump from GOAT debates straight to picturing Canelo smacking Jake Paul around for massive Netflix numbers. That's the magic of this sport. You and I are literally watching the narrative change in real time. Crawford keeps proving he's built differently, Mayweather's shadow is still hanging over the whole era, and legends like Mosley are sitting back smiling while dropping their honest opinions. And let's be real, if Canelo ever actually stepped into the ring with Jake Paul, the internet would crash faster than Ticketmaster during a Taylor Swift tour. That's the kind of wild chaos boxing fans secretly love, whether we admit it or not.
Would you think Bud would retire? I didn't actually ask you. Do you think Bud could call it a day?
He probably will retire for a year, maybe. If he does, a year or 2 years, like that, right? A year. But he's coming back.
Yeah.
He's coming back. He's a fighter. He's coming back. Come on.
And right after Shane Mosley stirred the pot by suggesting Crawford might even surpass Mayweather, Simon Jordan steps in with pure accountant energy, sounding like a guy who just reviewed the fight contracts himself. And honestly, he's not completely off. Canelo walked out of Vegas carrying a payday so massive it probably needed a forklift to move it, a staggering $150 million. Meanwhile, Crawford, the man who actually made history that night, reportedly took home around $50 million. Now don't get it twisted, $50 million is still the kind of money that lets you buy an island and disappear forever. But when you stack it next to Canelo's haul, it almost feels like Bud delivered the masterpiece while Canelo got the bigger check for putting it in the frame. That's boxing in a nutshell. Talent can earn the paychecks, but superstar branding is what builds the mansion.
That Alvarez has been able to sell himself in such a way because of his personality, because of the nature of the relationship with the Mexican contingent, his relationship with the broadcasters, whereas Terence Crawford has travelled a little bit under the radar, always been seen. He doesn't have the biggest of personalities, so he doesn't sell himself in that certain way.
And I have to admit, I felt Simon Jordan's frustration when he started mocking the judging and even took a jab at Max Kellerman for bringing up retirement right after the biggest victory of Crawford's career. Like seriously, the man just stamped his place in boxing history and the first thing you ask is, so when are you calling it quits? That's like asking Usain Bolt if he plans to retire the moment he breaks a world record. Sometimes you have to enjoy the moment. Crawford delivered the type of performance that rattles the entire sport, the kind fans talk about for years. Yet instead of letting the moment breathe, people were already trying to usher him toward the exit. In that sense, Simon had a point. Forget the money comparisons. Forget the questionable scorecards. Nights like this are when boxing fans should simply sit back and witness greatness.
This is the only thing I found controversial about it was the appalling scoring. I don't know how anyone, I mean, the AI scoring was just as bad because it came out of a draw, but the actual, this wasn't a close fight.
Well, the AI scoring, you're right.
It was a draw.
The AI is meant to be the ultimate judge.
Yeah.
114, 114.
No, the other judges scored it 115, 113. There was miles.
All right, let's bring this one home. Terence Crawford just turned the boxing world upside down once again, and now the entire sport is buzzing about what comes next. Is a showdown with David Benavidez on the horizon? Does another legacy-defining fight appear out of nowhere? Or does Bud simply sit on the throne and make the rest of the division come chasing after him? No matter what happens, this era feels incredible because we're watching a fighter reshape the game right in front of us. And the debates are only getting louder. Crawford against Benavidez, endless comparisons with Mayweather, questions about where Canelo goes from here. Right now boxing feels like it has more storylines than Netflix. But now it's your turn. Jump into the comments and tell me what you think because I know you've got some strong opinions. Does Crawford truly have the tools to deal with the Mexican monster, or was Robert Garcia right that size could finally become the problem Bud can't solve? Let the debate begin. And don't forget hit like, share and subscribe to Boxing Headquarters because we're only warming up. The next video is going to be even wilder. I'll see you in the next one.